Yay! Alright, let's make sure she's working. Oh. Checking that it's working. Oh yeah. Oh right, she's working. Yeah, that's what I like to see. Wiggling a little. We'll get there though. Oh. There we go. Nice. Okay, cool. Sweet. Alright. So, I am trying to get back on an earlier schedule. So, I've been up since very early, and I've been doing nothing but staring at functions. So, I need to do something else and break up that monotony a little bit, because graphs are boring as hell to code. So, I'm going to come and do a little bit of painting on my knight Valiant. She's had a bunch of painting done already. So here she is. She has some custom legs, bunch of changes in the armor. You know, like this double gun on one side, tilt shield on the other. These are actually fixed in place, but they're magnetized so they can rotate. The head is the same way. She has a custom magnetized hatch with a pilot who's not done yet, who clicks in there like that when I want her to be showing off on top when she ain't in combat. Because I love when there's pilots. Let's see what this thing says. I love when there's pilots for mecha that like stand on them, but I hate it when you're playing with them and your dude's like standing on top. It drives me bonkers. So she's magnetized to swap in and out. There we go. There's also a couple other neat little advances on this guy. Magnetized to the base, obviously, because I do that with all my knights. Has a little fuel tank on the back there, and this plugs into the fuel line on the flamethrower. So that plugs in like that, and then this is magnetized on the back of the gun so it can rotate. So it's got a little tank for the flamethrower, so it can, and also still swap the arms in and out and stuff if I wanted to. So I painted this in case I'm ever like, man, I don't want a Knight Valiant today. I want whatever the hell kind of knight this would be. Yeah, I want a knight with a big ass melting gun and a chainsword today. So she can take all the parts from my regular Questoris knights. So in case I'm ever like, I want another Questoris knight today to play. So she can swap all her bits in and out, which is pretty rad. So the cockpit's far from done. So we'll probably do a little bit of paint on that, but that's going to be hard to do on stream. And then, besides that, I am working on the armor colors. Now, this armor is several layers already done on it. It is base coated, and then it is painted red, Mephiston red or blood red, and then it's got a wash on it. And now what I'm doing is I'm going back and I'm hitting it with sponge. So I'm sponge painting it back on it to give it a little more color depth and also to brighten it up a little bit. So when it just dries, it should look like the top of the hatch there, where there's like a little bit of dirt, but it's still kind of brighter. This area is still kind of drying. Same with that, so it's a little brighter than otherwise would be. But that's my idea, is to have is to have a little bit brighter kind of model look to it, because I mean, I don't want this knight to be like super weathered like my other knight is, but it's also the 44th millennium and nothing is nice then. Everything is kind of shitty and greasy and covered in nurgling juice. So, you know, it being a little modeled is kind of what I want. Particularly happy with how the This is Runelord Brass. Came out with the Nuln oil over it. It came out looking really good because it originally looked like rose gold until I put the wash over it. So I'm super, super happy with that. Anyway, so let's get to sponge painting. So my fingers are going to be bright red today. So I'm just going to dab some from my wonderful palette and then just go in and tap it into place. So this is I'm not super worried about smearing it. That's actually what I want to do. You know, I don't want it to be mega, mega, mega heavy on there, but I do want to like smear some color in. So it's also going to be like a little bit of a pseudo dry brush, because since we're doing it from the top down, it's going to inherently grab the higher points of elevation on the knight. So, just gonna go through, grab some, smear it in. That we don't want it to be super, super, super mega. Mega heavy, because then we're just basically repainting it. But we do want it to brighten that color up a little bit, because I like the weathered look, but it's just a little bit too much. So since this is going to be kind of modeled, I'm not worried about getting it everywhere. I just kind of want to make sure that I get it into the bigger areas. Now since we were kind of smearing it, we could do this with a brush just as easily. Really, this kind of foam should be used for more kind of splotchy sort of painting, instead of smeary. But my fingers are already red and I already got it out, so we're gonna go with it. Anywhere we touch something we don't want, let's go back with a wet brush, clean up the edge. There we go. Okay, cool. And lighten up some of that. So the cam is really, really grabbing this, which is cool. It makes it very swirly looking. I like that. It is not nearly as bright in person as the cam is grabbing it. So since this is kind of messy and imprecise, I'm not going to like super worry about getting it close to all the edges and into all the nooks and crannies. It's really only for the bigger sort of flatter areas. One of the reasons I'm doing this is because I wanted to brighten up. The second reason really is I wasn't happy with how a lot of the wash laid on this. I got kind of a streaky texture. You can see it there in the white. Not happy with that. I will be repainting all of the stripes because the wash darkened them down a little bit too much. I'm debating if I want to do a similar painting method on all the white sections to brighten them up too, because I do think it's just a little too dark. As I've joked before, this guy is Dr. Pepper colored. So I do kind of want it to be more Dr. Pepper in this like kind of gray. So Alright, so let's get some more paint on there. Just gonna smear it in. Now anywhere that would have sort of like the washes in it, like the crevices and stuff, I'm gonna try to specifically not hit those. Because I want those to be darker areas. So there's probably much better ways to be doing this, but I think it will look nice in the end, even if we're doing a little bit of a weird method. I have used this before, but I did it on fur, and it comes up looking phenomenal for fur, and I'm pretty happy with how it looks here. But really, I've done this on fur, so. And fur is not like a consistent color, it's really like a mottled multi-mix of tones. So this ends up looking phenomenal on fur. Knight, you are so hard to grab. There we go. Yeah, I decided to, because there's so many pieces sort of working together, like the cockpit and stuff, I decided to build this knight, or paint this knight completely assembled. My previous knight, I painted all the armor separate and stuff. And it definitely added some challenge, painting it completely assembled, just with making sure I have a hold on it and not scratching it and stuff like that. Because yeah, I'm not using contrast paint, so they're a little tougher, but still, just got to be careful. You don't want to. Even things like the rivets and stuff like that, like the paint will just naturally sort of bounce off those just from your hand touching it or whatever. If you have to set the model down on the table, stuff like that, it'll scrape the paint. And I'll be honest, you have to magnetize this guy in the middle. I have a real tendency to disassemble his middle bit. So at least I have something a little more handleable. It's a little too bright there. I would like to try doing this with grays and whites and see if it comes out kind of marbled. Because I think it would actually look kind of like marble if you did it in grays and whites. I think that would be pretty rad. So again, I'm not trying to get everywhere, just trying to some of the bigger surfaces lightened up a little bit. I feel like the wash just pulled it down just a little too much. And it should give it a little bit of a marbled texture like that when it's all done. And that's really what I'm looking for. When it's all dry and everything. You can see how heavy some of the wash is here on the chest piece, for example. Just really pulled up. I probably should have wicked more of that away when I was painting it. But I did not. So now here we are, getting our fingers painted bright red. There we go. Nice. All right, sweet. Okay. So we're going to go ahead, and I have this other part of a knight here. And he's going to be my base for holding this guy, so I don't have to set him down anywhere weird. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to set that off to one side, and we're going to work on the legs. So let's rip this piece of sponge up a little bit, because the end's kind of saturated. Go. Alright. So same thing. Just going to focus on big areas and splotch in some red. And sort of streak it around. I guess really I could be doing this with a dry brush too. But since I didn't done this on animals before, I figured I would do it this way. I'm not sure I'm really happy with the method, to be honest. But the result looking pretty good so far. Might need another round of this though. Might not be going on strong enough. Let's see. See, that's just too hard to do. With the spongy sponge, so. I'll get in there with the brush instead. Sort of smear another layer around, add a little more depth to this color. Try not to get it in the cracks and stuff, but instead just on those sort of the big kind of flat areas. Yeah, the brush works better than this sponge. Alright, we're done with the sponge. I'll save the sponge for when I do animal fur. Oh, am I on cam? Yeah, I'm on cam. So I'd figure out what markings I'm going to do for this knight. She has some some like Knight Quest Source markings. But really, I'm not sure which ones I want to do. I gotta do the decals today, too. I mean, once all this is done being cleaned up, I want to do the decals for it. So the areas with the tiger stripes, you're not gonna get any decals. But the other sections, so like red sections, they're probably gonna get white decals. And I specifically did them before the wash because I wanted them to really kind of like zoom and stand out, you know. Just gonna do a super tiny bit on the toes. I'm actually pretty happy with how dark the toes are. But because they'll get some more weathering once I decide what kind of base she's gonna have. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing a Mars base for her, since I'm really thinking about doing some of the Night Quest Taurus markings. And since her lower leg is upside down, the lower armor here, I choose to do it more like a piece of toe armor, like on Ed 209 or something like that. Since her leg works like that, it means that I can't use some of the big skull markings, because they're meant to line up with the filigree on the foot, or filigree on the armor, and the big skull markings just aren't going to work for that. So a little bit there, bring it down like that. There we go. Just trying to brighten her up a little. We'll redo some, we'll look at the tiger stripe areas next, figure out what we can do for those, get them a little brighter. Yeah, I'll try doing this kind of method on the tilt shield, see how it looks when it dries. Because I already resolved that I'm going to have to repaint all the tiger stripes. They're too dark now. I don't like them. So I'm going to have to repaint them all. Because they were very subtle anyway. Like the orange on the white is not like a super, super like standout wow kind of color. You know, it's intended to be more subtle. Because I have a little bit of headcanon for this night, and I like to make little stories for each one that I paint. So this one is actually the Machine Spirit Fort is corrupted Slaanesh, but the rest of the machine isn't, or the demon knows it can't do it, because then it'll be purged. So it's sort of slowly corrupting the pilot. So on the inside of the cockpit, when I'm done with it, is all going to be like crazy bright colors. So it's going to be like pinks and blues and neon greens, and you know, and then the outside's going to look like a normal night. You know, but the inside, you know, there's going to be like tentacles and Slaanesh symbols on the inside of the cockpit, and you know, and I chose an Escher sister as a sister. I don't know if sister is the right word, but I chose one of the Escher models. I bought, it's just slightly out of reach. I bought the Escher box with the cats because I wanted to build the cats pretty much. I really don't have any plans for the ladies. But when I was like, man, I want to make this model that gets corrupted to Slaanesh, so let me make a pilot for it. She was perfect. She like has one foot just slightly up, and you know, her outfit is very, very tight. I painted it to be a bodysuit as opposed to a two-piece. I think it looks better that way, and makes thematically more sense. I can't imagine you know, a night pilot going into battle in a tube top. It's just a little weird, Slaanesh or not. So, yep, I get on camera. So yeah, just swirling this around. But yeah, I like the idea that, you know, like if you were a night pilot, and you got in this machine and it's like, yo, worship Slaanesh, you know, there would probably be a good chance you wouldn't tell anybody. One, your night might get taken away from you. Two, you might be, you know, purged for knowing about this corruption. You know, so you might just like go along with it and try to make the best of it you can, kind of thing. Because you really don't have any other choice. You'd be in this like really shitty situation where it's like, well, if I tattle on this, I might not wake up tomorrow. Or, you know, the thing that makes me famous might get taken away. So I think that's really cool. I think it's a really fun idea for why someone might stick with something that's corrupted to chaos, even if they aren't like super chaos man. Alright, so let's make another pass round, hit the red in a couple more spots, and we'll check the top as well, make sure it's all sort of being about the same kind of swirliness, about the same consistency. You see, like this area here, I want to brighten that up a little bit more compared to the rest of it. I feel like that's a little bit dark. That's probably now a little bit too bright. So we'll get some of that off. Probably a little too bright now, but it'll do. I think I want to put a little bit more in this knee here and bring that up some. More there. Here we go. So that's coming along pretty good. Getting some more bright out in it. Super happy with that. Alright, let's look at the top again. Oh, probably a couple areas we've got to clean up on the top. We were still using the sponge back then. So let's, clean a couple spots up. I want to do the chest piece here. I was going to paint the ribbon on the chest separate color, but I don't know if I have words that I want to use for it. Because I was looking at the decals, and the House Tyrannus decals are really cool. And the Questoris Knight decals are really cool. Because I mean, she's going to be whatever I feel like playing. I don't really care if her decals match what her rules are. That's not important to me. I mean, like anyone that I would play wouldn't really care either. So. It's not a big deal. Go. Like my Space Marine Force, for example, is made out of all chapters. I've got Space Wolves in there, and I've got Ultramarines and Rogel Dorn's guys, and I got Celestial Bears and Space Sharks, and they're all painted different, and I'm just, when I were to play them, I'd be like, these are Ultramarines or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really care if their markings match their rules. It's not important to me. So she could have House Tyrannus markings and be like Questoris Knight, or vice versa. Go. Cleaning it up with a wet brush when I miss. I mean, let's be serious, we all make mistakes, especially when doing painting like this. We were sort of being rough and quick. Not being super precise. You're going to make mistakes doing this kind of blotchy painting. sort of the nature of it. I would actually really prefer not to be doing this after all the details have been painted in, but I don't have a choice because I didn't like how the wash looked. But coming along pretty well. I'm actually super happy with how this came out on the legs. Just brightened it up a lot, and honestly, even just brightening up the red, I feel like brightening up the white some. I think that's good. Might not actually have to fully repaint the white, so instead now I might just do some stripes. I might just repaint the stripes and call it done. Alright, so let's call that done for the red until it's fully dry. And we'll look at the stripes and stuff. And we'll let that fully dry. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that really brightened it up and got more bright red in there, but it still looks kind of mottled. Yeah, really super happy with that. Alright, so I am going to try repainting one of the white sections. I do think they look way better now with the brighter red, but I'm going to try repainting one of them. I'm not going to full repaint it. I'm going to do the same kind of thing, because I've already decided I have to repaint all the stripes, so I'm not worried about covering up the stripes, because I mean, worst case is just going to go right back on top. So we're going to do the same kind of thing again, but this time, let me actually get on the camera. Let me move the legs so I can get on the camera, but this time we're going to do it on the white. So I don't know how this is going to work and how it's going to look. So we're going to test it here on the tilt shield, because it's sort of a nice big area to try it out on. And worst case, I can repaint the tilt shield really easy. And like I said, I have to repaint the stripes anyway, so. Okay, so now we're going to let that dry. I'm going to see how it looks once it's dry. I got red all over that shoulder armor. That's a problem. That's a big problem. I need a brush for that. So again, I'm just hitting it with a wet brush. And it should pull off the most recent less dry paint. So yeah, get that into focus. Screwed that up. That's a thing. Now we're going to do some spot fixing, because I apparently was not careful enough with my brush, or my fingers, or something else. I don't know. So, gotta do some spot fixing now. So I'm going to break out the Rune Lord Brass. I'm going to do this with the tiniest brush I have on my desk. There's actually a spot on the face we need to fix as well. I didn't see in time. There we go. Yeah, I didn't see that one in time. Okay, so... We're not going to do that with the tiniest brush because that's not working super well. Move up a step. Go. Just get that on there like that. Yeah, and there we go. Yep. There we go. Alright, are there any other spots need touch up? Yes. There are some spots I could use some touch up. Go ahead and hit those. Okay. That was looking pretty good. Okay. Alright, so we're going to let that dry. And then we'll debate whether or not redoing the white is worth it. Or rather, as I should say, stone golem, which is sort of like a gray off-white. Alright, so let's look at some other projects I got on my desk. My desk is a little bit of a mess right now. I didn't super set it up very nice from the other day when I was streaming, when I was building this guy. So this is Bugman. It's raining here off and on in Hawaii today, so he is not sprayed yet. Also not sprayed, we have custom rat ogre with a belly and a stabby hand and a pair of rat balls because he needs his rat balls. And we got some what the hell are these called? Pole rats or something. I cannot remember what these are called. But they're a little custom. They got some extra slants with like the way they're looking and the way their arms work and stuff. So they got a little bit extra going on. And then there's another one of those because there's 3 that comes in the box. So I got 3 of those to spray as well. So I punched my fucking knight. Good job, Josh. I've also got this Nurgle themed Chaos Spawn. Still working on him. I've actually been using him to eat up all the leftover green stuff I have between my other projects. So every time I have leftover green stuff, I work on him with it. I got some Chaos Space Marine Terminators here to go with the rest of my Chaos Space Marine guys. They've all got their colors blocked in, and I just need to go through and pick out details on them. And then they'll be all done. I'm kind of hoping to have them done this weekend. I have my Hell Pit Abomination. He is almost ready for washes and modeling and stuff like that. I just need to do some more details. He needs some bone color cleanup. I need to paint like eyes and like insides of mouths and stuff like that. And then I need to clean up some of the gunmetal color. And then he will be ready for washes. So he's all kinds of different rat colors. I have this rat ogre right here who's being led around by a Plague Monk. This Plague Monk is basically an eBay rescue, so pretty happy with him. So there he is, showing him all off. This guy's got some custom bits for how his arms sit. You can see this one here in the side came out really well. This one didn't. It's a little slanted. When I first put it on, I actually thought he had a metal ring that goes all the way around the shoulder. It's not the case. So it's a little jank, but it's okay. And then he has a hood that I finished connecting into the body, because otherwise it ends at a really weird spot. So, and then I just picked this lady up yesterday. This is a Magus for Gene Stealer cults. She has her rat head. I have not made her tail yet. I will probably do that today, and that's why. And then it'll dry, and then I'll be able to spray them hopefully tomorrow with the rest of the Legion of the Gray I have there. I also have I have way too many fucking projects. I have another knight, because I got a hair at my ass and was like, man, it'd be cool to have a whole knight army. So I have another knight. This one is based on the Canis Rex kit, like my other finished knight I did. He's magnetized a lot of the same ways, except there's some extra stuff, like his head is magnetized. The tilt shield is magnetized in 2 places, so it can wiggle, woggle. That wasn't on camera. It can wiggle, woggle, or be removed. Also, his cockpit is magnetized. I wish I'd done this on the other night, but oh well. And then he's got custom feet, so their toes are repositioned like dog feet, and then he has an extra joint in his legs. I know I'm going to have a squirrel piloting this one. So when you open up the cockpit, there's going to be a squirrel. But that's about as far as design as I've gotten. I would like to do some metal mesh, like maybe here, to replace the shoulder armor, like a piece of like jagged metal mesh, and another one here, to replace that piece of armor. Sort of make him not look battle damaged, but sort of like repaired, if that makes sense. You know, maybe replace a section of like the armor here, and then you could see the technology underneath. Something like that I think would be really, really rad. So that's what I'm doing for that's what my plan is right now for him. I'm also thinking he's going to be sort of like really kind of heavy military colors, like maybe like Imperial Guard sort of colors. But on the other hand, because of the weird dog feet, I'm also thinking about maybe theming him like my AdMac, and doing him in all grays and stuff like that. But we'll see. But again, he has all magnetized weapons and stuff like that. So, there's a neat thing with these guns. You can actually make these to be universal for side. And basically how you do that is you glue one tank on each side like that, so you wind up with sort of left and right themed guns, so it's pretty cool. Here we go. Yeah. So that's pretty much everything I have on my desk. I have a bunch of these Kings of War rats, but if I'm being honest, I haven't really felt like painting just sort of generic troops. I've kind of felt like doing like elites and big models right now. I do get moments where I'm like, I want to batch paint like 40 dudes and just have a horde of dudes. So these guys are kind of waiting for those moments, because I do have those, but just not today. Oh god, I have too many fucking projects. I also have a bunch of giant rats. These are partially painted. They need details. Their bases are started to be worked on, because I didn't feel like doing details one night. So they need details, and then they're all done, ready to get sprayed and played with. So. Alright, so let's move this gray out of the way. let's look at how this is drying. So you can see the red really brightened up. I like that a lot. The tilt shield also brightened a bunch. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not perfect. I might actually leave all of the white as it stands right now. I have to debate that. And then repaint this, just repaint the stripes. Because I think the stripes, once they're repainted, like the... Come on. You can see the one that's way brighter there. I think once that's done, I think that might be enough. Alright, well, I'll debate that. Let me clean this up a little bit. There's one spot there it's I don't like. That's this. I don't like this. Right there. So we'll get rid of that. Yeah, unfortunately the white is not as mottly as the red is. It's more like just painting. So we'll go ahead and we'll just leave that. Let that finish drying some more. And we'll see what we think of it. Alright, well that's been me brightening up the red on this Imperial Knight Valiant. Hopefully this was fun for you, or interesting, or something. And now I'm going to go work on some more functions, probably. And yeah, hopefully this was interesting. And that was my night. And if you watched this, thank you for watching. Oh, let me show, since he's drying-ish now, let me show how the flamethrower works better. Because I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's pretty rad. Okay, so she's got her flamethrower arm, right? So that connects up to the tube there and then runs over to the tank in the back. But the neat thing is that this is magnetized, so it can wiggle. So if I want to have her like aiming that way, the tube's not going to get in the way. It's going to have a little bit of resistance from it, but not a lot, because the magnet, it's like a magnet sitting on a magnet, and they can wiggle against each other. So you can, if I get tired of having the tube one day, I can just do that, and then the tube doesn't matter anymore. So yeah, pretty happy with that. I think it's pretty rad. Neat little fun detail. It's not the coolest thing, but I think it's pretty good. So let me put her all together, and then you can see her what she's going to look like at the end. So get her. I do wish this kind of knight could take 3 of the top guns, but unfortunately you can only take 2. You have to take some of the rockets. Shit, stop, no, stop. And the rockets have a little bit of customization on them. I actually put some wires and stuff on them, and they are, since they're on camera, they're actually magnetized, because you can only fire them once at every game. So once they get fired, I can actually just go click and pull them off, which I think is pretty rad. And then the pilot, once she is done, which she is way too tiny to paint on cam, she goes in like this. And yeah, that is my, or will be my Knight Valiant. So yeah. Gotta figure out the decal still. Gotta repaint those stripes. Gotta finish the pilot, finish the cockpit. And then she is ready to spray. Let me pull her out and put her on the big camera. She is ready to spray, and then ready to play. Figure out her base after that, but she'll be good to play and stuff before then, so I don't mind if her base is unfinished to play with her. So yeah, rocking and rolling, Knight Valiant. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody, if that watched. And yeah, hopefully this was fun.